Deze podcast is powered by ACC ICT, de nummer 1 Kubernetes specialist van Nederland.
Here we go. Welkom bij een nieuwe aflevering van de Nederlandse Kubernetes podcast. De podcast over Kubernetes voor iedereen. Ik ben Ronald Kers en ik zit zoals altijd met...
Jan Stomphorst, ACC ICT Solutions Architect.
Oké,
Steeds sneller.
Gaat steeds sneller. Deze keer niet live, Jan.
Oh, nee. Dat is wel een... En ik denk dat deze ook nog wel even duurt voordat die uitkomt. Omdat we zo ontzettend veel mooie podcasts al hebben opgenomen. En ik moet je nog even feliciteren.
Nou, ga je gang. Feliciteer me maar.
Gefeliciteerd met het behalen van onze 8 uur.
Ah, nou ja, dan dan feliciteer ik jou ook. Nog even met die 8 uur. Onze gast heeft geen idee waar het over gaat. Maar...
Let's switch to English.
Thank you. I was in my nod and smile phase.
Nod and smile.
Nod and smile.
Smile and wave. Smile and wave.
Smile and wave.
No, we just had an 8-hour marathon last week.
Oh, okay.
For charity, and that's why we have a quick congratulations to each other, because this is the first episode after that marathon. So that's what we're talking about.
That's very impressive.
Thanks.
I think the longest marathon I did is 8 seconds, probably. Yeah. No, running is not my thing, so I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks. So for the listeners, that voice is from Giorgia.
Yes.
And then Fiscaletti.
Yes.
Thank you.
You can call me Joey, it's easier.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, can you please introduce yourself to our listeners?
All right. So my name is Giorgia. Joe for the friends. I'm Italian originally. Moved to Switzerland a couple of years ago. Actually, one of the reasons why I was very excited about moving to Switzerland is because I'm a big time skier.
Oh.
So I thought, okay, that's a great opportunity to go skiing.
And
I ended up in Basel, which is the furthest away that you can get from any ski resorts in Switzerland. So, yeah. But at least I ended up working at Adobe, which is, pays off. And, you can do like a couple of hours of car to go skiing. It's still okay. So I am a cloud engineer. I studied computer engineering in Milan, did a little experience abroad in the US, worked in Milan a little bit, and then I decided it was time to fly away from mother country and move to Switzerland, and here I am now talking about Helm and Kubernetes.
But do you still live in Basel?
Yes, I do live in Basel right now.
And we're now in Amsterdam. So that's a long way.
Yeah. The flight is easy, so like 1 hour flight.
Okay.
So what was the thing that drove you to the IT? So was it like a little Geo that wanted to become an engineer in the IT, or how was that?
It's actually a very fun story.
We love fun stories.
Let's say that tech was not my plan in life. I am a lot into art. Visual arts in general is my real passion, always has been. And as a kid, as a teenager, let's say, when I started to decide where to go in my path, I really wanted to do digital art. So I applied to a few schools. I got accepted at a nice art school in Scotland. And then I went there for the interviews. I presented the course and I was like, I'm not sure. I really want to understand how these tools for digital art work. So I went back, started looking for something else. And then one day I was in Milan at the Politecnico for the open day. And I was there for design, actually. And I had some spare time and I went to see the introduction workshop for computer engineering. And I was like, that's interesting.
It's an art in itself.
That's interesting. I could understand how Photoshop works, for example, how these tools work. And then I can get back to art. So once I understand how they work, I can get back to art. So I signed up for computer engineering. I dropped everything around art that I wanted to do. And I said, let's understand how these tools work. So I finished my bachelor. And at that point, I was like, I really want to get back into some artsy stuff. I don't know, video game design or computer graphics. But then I kind of understood at that point how these tools work, like the softwares. but there's hardware below the software.
Yeah.
How can I go back to art without understanding how hardware works? So in my master's, I ended up in a research lab for 2 years doing hardware acceleration on FPGAs, which I hit rock bottom. That was rock bottom for me. And I realized, okay, I cannot go lower than this. That's enough. So I started exploring a little bit with Kubernetes. We had some initiatives in the lab that were around FPGA as a service. So we were using AWS clusters. We were interfacing ourselves with Kubernetes. And when I was in the US, I did this course on cloud computing. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, actually. It's hardware without the hardware. That's how my mentor in my company described it. So yeah, and that's it. And here I am right now. And the cool part is that somehow I ended up working at Adobe, which is the company that makes Photoshop,
Yeah.
but for something that is completely different for what I was hoping for as a kid.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll take it for now.
But Ronald said, engineering is also an art.
I would say so, yeah. It's a very creative job if you allow it. It can be a very mechanical job
Yeah.
on one end, because you can end up very easily, I think, in engineering, doing very repetitive tasks every day, pretty much as a machine. Or you can be on the creative side and crafting solutions or building up new ideas with the tools that you have. So yeah, I guess there's creativity in computer science as well.
Yeah, I think so. And I think there's a lot of creativity. But yeah, cool.
Yeah. So we are at the Dutch Cloud Native Day. Very awesome event, if I say myself.
You organized it all.
Yeah, I'm not wearing a cruise shirt or something. And
No.
it's a shameless plug for myself and the other organizers, of course. You have a talk here.
Yes.
Take the helm, navigating 1K releases per day.
Yes.
Can you talk about what you talk about in the talk? So 3 times.
3 times.
Can you
Okay.
elaborate?
Elaborate. That was the word I was looking for. Yeah.
No, I will talk about what I talk in my talk. I like this. I really like it.
So start talking.
I will start talking now about my talk that I will talk about later. So, as a cloud engineer in our company, I work a lot on the cloud infrastructure of our product, which is Adobe Experience Manager. And we're using Helm a lot for our application that we deploy on the cluster. And somehow, since even my previous employment, I ended up working on Helm pretty much on a daily basis. Some would say it's a curse. I feel like at some point it grew on me. Maybe a little bit of Stockholm syndrome, I don't know. So yeah, it was a very big impact for me because my previous company was a medium to small company, so we had a smaller infrastructure. And moving from that to the same job in a company that has such a bigger scale as Adobe, so many more clusters, many more releases to manage, it was a big challenge for me to also get used to that, also to understand what are the challenges of working at such a big scale. And so what happened is that somehow, even in my new job at Adobe, since the very beginning, one of my first tasks was around the Fluxity controllers that we have in our clusters. So helm-controller and source controller that we're using. And since then, it's just sticked on me somehow. So now I'm one of the experts that everyone reaches out to when there's some issue with the helm controllers. Some would say that's a course as well. And what I'm going to talk about is a couple of challenges that we faced in the past couple of years, at least since I joined, with using these controllers at scale. So we've had a few, we had a few issues. I mean, everybody makes mistakes.
Sure.
Especially when you're moving from a small, our product was a Swiss product that was acquired by Adobe. So the scale changed in the past years. And what happens in these situations is that you start scaling and you're still using the frameworks that you're using with a smaller scale. And until it works, you prioritize something else until one day it doesn't work anymore. And you have to find solutions to adapt to the new scale that you're dealing with and to keep it scalable to welcome even more customers.
And do you have an example?
Do I have to spoiler my talk?
Yeah.
It's also for the people that are not here. And this episode
okay. I guess I will spoiler my talk then.
Because the people here are not going to hear it.
Okay.
And it's for the people at home. Our
So,
fancy listeners.
okay, for the people at home then. So one example, we were deploying Helm and source controllers in every namespace. So we have environments in every namespace. And since we were starting, I was not there yet, but they were starting from a smaller scale. We had these controllers replicated in every namespace. We have a few environments in every few environments that are defined by our own operators. And these controllers were taking care only of the environments in that specific namespace. And they were working pretty fine. So they required very few resources. And they were managing the reconciliation of the Helm charts and Helm releases in the single namespaces. But what happens when you start scaling up and you start having 200-300 namespaces per clusters, which means that you have 200-300 Helm controllers, 200-300 source controllers per cluster, all talking at the same time sometimes when you're doing upgrades, all talking at the same time to the API server. And what happens is that the API server at some point says, nope,
No.
I'm not going to do this anymore. And this is what happened at some point. Our API servers in a few clusters said, nope. And we had a few issues. And the takeaway from that was that we needed to find a way to make it scalable and to keep on scaling and to make the API server safe and able to support more requests, not more requests, but able to support more customers. So what we did there, we went studying all the changelog of Helm controller, and we found out that we could use sharding. So centralization was the keyword. We needed to centralize. We couldn't go on keeping those controllers in every single namespace. We needed to centralize. So have a few controllers per cluster centralized in one single namespace, taking care of multiple releases, multiple namespaces. So what you can do with sharding is that you have a centralized namespace with centralized controllers, and every controller only watches on a specific set of namespaces that contain releases with a specific label. So, for example, I have Helm controller 1, which is taking care of all the namespaces that have releases marked with 1. Helm controller 2 is taking care of all namespaces with releases all marked with 2, and so on. So this way, we ended up having 10 Helm controllers, 10 source controllers per cluster, handling 200 namespaces.
Cool.
And I don't have the plots here, but the numbers were pretty impressive. With the number of requests, the reduction of the number of requests that were hitting the API server, it was really, really impressive after we rolled out this change.
Okay. And it's like Helm the thing that is like the ideal solutions for this kind of workloads, or?
Sorry, what?
Yeah, I'm looking for like Helm. You have like a Helm chart, right? And that rolls out like those deployments. I'm looking for like if you look back, is Helm like the thing to do it like this, or?
Yeah, he's meaning Helm is a template engine.
Yeah, it's a template engine, yes.
And he's searching for, because I always say, he's listening to me sometimes. Not that often.
Sometimes.
Helm is not the perfect solution if you have software. Why do you use Helm as an extra layer between your YAML files and your software? So why are you using Helm then?
So in ours, I can talk for our use case.
Yeah, of course.
We have a huge set of Helm charts, a lot of files that needs to be customized on different layers. So we have a default configuration, which is the one that we have in our repo. And then we receive values from the customer. And the customer can tweak very specific fields of the Helm charts.
Do you have more than one installation of the same software and specific for a customer?
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Then it's Helm chart.
It's
good. And then on top of that, since we're using the Helm controllers, and the Helm controller enables the possibility to apply also customized patches on top of. So we have an additional layer of customization. So what we're doing right now, we have the customer applying their values. And on top of that, we also have values that we apply internally through customize with patches, through which we deliver our new features and our operational stuff, let's say. And then on top, also for testing and for patches that we can do on the way, we also have another system to add additional customized patches or to edit the values of Helm.
Oh, right. Okay.
So we have a few layers, but it's working.
Kost het beheer van Kubernetes je veel tijd en expertise? Maak kennis met ACC ICT. Zij ontzorgen je volledig met managed Kubernetes diensten op elke cloud. Gecertificeerde specialisten zorgen voor compleet beheer, 24/7 support en optimale beveiliging. Jij kunt je focussen op je core business, terwijl je Kubernetes-omgeving in betrouwbare handen is. Manage Kubernetes van ACC ICT. Jouw zorg, onze expertise. Bezoek accict.com.
So, you faced the Helm saga, if we call it like that. You're in scaling up for bigger clusters. Did you have any other problems when you went to a bigger cluster?
I think around Helm, which is something that I'm also going to talk about in the talk.
Awesome.
etcd storage. That's also a big issue, which is not always related to Helm. It can be related also to other, because in etcd storage, you can have config maps, secrets, all these kind of manifests that can arrive not only from Helm, but also from other resources. And it's very easy to have leftover resources. Sometimes also with when cleaning up, the cleaning up doesn't always work. Maybe there are some resources that are stuck or that cannot be deleted for some reason. For us, it happens very often. Sometimes like Helm releases, for example, they can get stuck because they have dependencies between Helm release and Helm chart. You can have dependencies. Maybe they get stuck in a reconciliation loop and they cannot be deleted, which means that all the deployments and pods cannot be deleted, and secrets and config maps and so on. So etcd storage is something that is also worth looking at when you're scaling up, because it can be easily filled up to capacity. And what happens in that situation, especially if you have customers on the clusters, is that the etcd suddenly becomes read-only.
Yeah.
And you don't want that.
No.
You don't want that. So one issue that we faced with that using Helm is that we were accumulating a lot of Helm secrets. The Helm release secrets, so we are storing the releases, the release history in secrets, and we were not really mindful of how many history secrets we were storing for every release. So a few clusters became a little bit overwhelmed. And in that case, I mean, decluttering is what you do. You just start cleaning up. You try to be a little bit mindful. Like maybe for production, you want to keep a little bit more history to just be able to roll back a little bit further back. Roll back. Maybe for a test environment or the environments are sandbox, maybe you just need one.
Okay.
So yeah.
So I'm using a lot of Adobe products because I do the editing of the software and stuff.
Oh, I'm sure you are. Yeah.
So I'm also keen on the AI enhancer, the online one. I don't know if you're familiar with that specific. And you have like the podcast studio, the cloud version and stuff.
We are not on that product.
Oh, you're not in that product. Okay.
I'm not really aware of what's happening on the.
Okay, but there's a fair.
I don't know if I should call it the light, the bright side or the dark side of Adobe.
Yeah, sure. Of course, I can imagine there are many different teams inside a big company.
Yes, we are right now we are on a single product. Like most of our team in Basel is on one single product. Which was this Swiss product that was acquired a few years ago.
Okay.
Which is Adobe Experience Manager. It's a product for enterprise companies to help them build websites.
Right. Okay.
And yes, all the other products are mainly based in US, for example. So all the Creative Cloud is based in US.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's bigger than we can imagine.
Also that I can imagine. Sometimes I forgot. We are just 200 people in our office. We are little more than 1,000 maybe working on our product. I'm not sure if the numbers are correct. And sometimes I forget that this is a company of 40,000 people all around the world. It's insane.
And back to Kubernetes.
Kubernetes.
Back to Kubernetes.
Our favorite topic.
Yeah, of course. That's why we have a podcast about that. No. How many clusters do you have? Because you talked about 200 namespaces.
Per cluster,
Per
yes.
cluster?
I think we have now around 50 clusters, I would say, for just this specific product. It's around 50 clusters with an average of 200 namespace. 50 cluster only in production.
And so if a customer wants to use the software, they have to apply that somewhere, and you deploy then a version of your software with the specific Helm chart values to your cluster.
Yes, we have a pipeline that does that, yeah. So we receive the customer values through the pipeline, and
you use
the charts are applied.
Or GitHub or GitLab, or
we have a few tools for. I'm not sure about the whole stack because I am on the other side. So we receive the what arrives at the end of the pipeline. So we are at the end of the tunnel. I think we're using a bunch of tools for CI/CD and for continuous delivery in general. We have Argo CD for sure. We're using Flux for the Helm reconciliation.
Oh, yeah. So you're an Helm guru.
Oh my! I am not sure. Maybe,
But
I'm not sure.
What is the thing? The biggest thing on Helm that doesn't work properly, or
Dangerous territory.
Fun. I was last night. I was very tired. I arrived. Yeah, I arrived in the Netherlands yesterday, and I was after the whole speakers dinner. We went back to the hotel, had a drink, and I ended up in a conversation where it was just Helm ranting. So and I was just there listening to the organizers, and I was just there sitting there, and I was like, do they know that I'm gonna speak for 30 minutes about Helm, unsolicited Helm talk tomorrow? And they're here ranting. What are they gonna say about my talk? So yeah, I kind of agree with them that templating is a bit cumbersome. Let's say. It's not the easiest to debug when you have issues with the template. Sometimes we get errors that arrive at the end of the pipeline. Like we see like these errors, like that there's maybe something that a node which is not a type which is not the type that the chart is expecting. So maybe it's a string, it's not a string. And sometimes it's hard since we have a very long pipeline from where these values are that these values go through from the customer until they arrive to us. It's very hard to understand at which point in the pipeline that value was converted to something that the chart doesn't accept.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that the typing YAML in general is not fun to deal with, I would say. And finding these typing errors, I think, is one of the most tedious things about Helm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are there any drawbacks working like this with Helm?
Drawbacks? More specifically?
No, I'm not
Just
sure.
in general.
Yeah, in general.
I am not sure. I think that maybe in the way we're working, in my opinion, in the way we're working with Helm, so Helm can be a little bit of a limitation sometimes when you need to customize more parts of the template. So the template is a kind of limiting you on the fields which is a good thing because you're also limiting the users on where
you're living in a standard.
Exactly. You're living in a standard. You're standardizing it, which is good. But sometimes from the infrastructure point of view, you might need to do some tweaks, maybe to adjust a few things or to patch some parts of the deployments that maybe you don't want to release a new version of the chart. You just want to do it on top. Or maybe also for testing. But I wouldn't say that's an issue in our case because since we're using the helm controller, we have the possibility to apply customized patches on top, which makes it pretty smooth, I would say, once you get used to the YAML and how to all the indentation that is wrong like 90% of the time, and then you discover that you tabbed instead of doing the double space. Or that you forgot, that you forgot like the quotes somewhere. I don't know. But I would say that fixes the issue. So right now I don't see, maybe I'm one of the few people that doesn't really hate Helm, probably.
That's awesome.
There's no hate here. Everything is good with you.
No, but I see like yesterday people were very frustrated. And I can understand why. But I'm so used to it that right now it's just, I know that you work like this.
Yeah. You hate it because you work the wrong way. Yeah, just turn the question around.
You just have to give in. You just have to accept.
I think people want to work a different way, and Helm guides you down a path. I'm not saying it's the right path, but
or the wrong path.
Or the wrong path.
It's a path.
It's
a path.
And if you stray from that path, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
But if you stay on the path, it's happy flow.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to go by the rules that Helm sets, which can be, debatable sometimes.
Sure, but isn't that with everything? Every technology?
Exactly. Like every kind of technology has their ups
we
and
always
downs.
want something else, but that's
Yeah.
Yeah, and then somebody builds something else, but then there's always the other guy that says, no, I want it the other way around. So that keeps us...
it's always going to be like this because there's always so many different ways. Also, this comes back to creativity. You can have so many different ways to implement something.
Yeah, and then a standard is awesome. So keeping that standard, but even in my opinion, if you have a big cluster and everybody does his own thing, you don't have a standard, so you will get anarchy.
Exactly. Yes.
And then it's harder to manage such a cluster. And if everybody does the same thing, you can do a really big cluster, and the workload is easier also for the API server.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that.
Cool.
Yeah. So, we always have a final question. We didn't prepare you, but I think you can answer it wonderfully. How do you see the future of Kubernetes? You may broaden it up with Helm, because...
The future of Kubernetes. That's a very difficult question. I should have prepared for that.
That's the first thing that comes into mind. Of how would you like to see it? If I put a crystal ball here on the table, what would you like to see in it?
So I have to admit, I am very, let's say, affectionate to the Kubernetes as we know it right now. And sometimes I hear a lot of people saying that Kubernetes is going towards the end of its life cycle with AI and with the managed services, and that we will not need to use Kubernetes directly at some point. I feel kind of sad when I hear that, because it was like my first approach to cloud was through kubectl and dealing with Kubernetes on my local cluster on my computer. And when you start architecting things on Kubernetes, I feel, I don't know. For me, it hits differently than coding when you have a whole architecture that you can build on Kubernetes. So on the future of Kubernetes, I think somehow it has to start introducing, I don't know. I'm wondering how it will be with AI, honestly, with the advent of AI and how we're using LLMs nowadays, and how it will change how we use Kubernetes. I think that more and more I think that future developers, future cloud engineers are going to be less in touch with Kubernetes directly, and maybe through managed services, managed clusters. So Kubernetes is probably going to go on a lower level.
Yeah, the abstraction layer.
Yeah, exactly. I still hope that I will do my kubectl commands.
Did you translate? Are you using kubectl or do you use K?
K.
I see that with a lot of engineers now. They don't use kubectl They don't type out the command anymore. They just do K.
No, exactly. Yeah. With K, I have all the aliases for like KG,
Yeah,
KGP, all the aliases you can think
Jan?
of.
No, I'm old school.
But the worst thing about that alias, the K, is that sometimes I copy paste commands from like, I don't know, that someone shares on Slack, and I copy paste, and maybe they write the whole command. I write cube cuttle and the whole command. And maybe after a few days, I have to look in the history for the command, and I don't find it because I just type kget. Maybe I'm looking.
Yeah.
And it doesn't find it because they wrote cube cuttle and the whole extended command. Quite frustrating, but yeah.
Yeah, my problem is I work on a lot of different environments. So if I change from the environment to the environment, I have to put in all the aliases again. So I stopped that a long time ago. So I just write out cube color and I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's, but I understand. It's shorter. And if you use a lot of commands, it's easier just to type K.
Yeah, actually, I don't even do, I use K9s,
Oh, yeah.
which is, it was a lifesaver. When I discovered it, it was a lifesaver.
Yeah?
Nice UI.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
K9.
it has an text-based UI.
Yeah, text-based UI. Yeah, exactly.
So it's really cool.
It's very, very cool. Really
Still
helpful.
that I don't use it because I'm
Old school.
old school.
It also depends on the day, depends on the mood and how I wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Sometimes I also feel a little bit old school and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to open K9s today.
Yeah.
Only KGP.
Well,
Oh, awesome.
there is, of course, there will be a GUI coming along the way
Oh, yeah.
from
No.
Kubernetes. Yeah.
I
No.
think that could be part of the future at some point, having...
Didn't
A
Chris
GUI.
talked about that? That something
Yeah.
comes up? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to use it. But yeah,
It's like with Docker.
Yeah.
Who uses the Docker UI?
yeah, that's also stupid. But yeah, that's my opinion, by the way. But yeah,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
thank you very much.
Thanks a lot to you guys for inviting me. It's
Yeah.
been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It was all ours. And we'd love to talk to you again in the future.
Same for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, see
Thank
ya.
you so much. See you.
Bye bye.
Deze podcast is een initiatief van ACC ICT en wij zijn te beluisteren op onze website k8spodcast.nl via Spotify, Apple en alle andere favoriete podcastproviders.